I missed the middle word there, Steve. I'm so sorry.
In May, your government borrowed the second highest amount since records began, £17.7 billion you borrowed just in the month of May, and only peak COVID in May 2020 was higher. You would accept that the size of gap we're talking about is more than mere fluctuations?
Well,
look, in May, the government borrowed £17.7 billion, which is the second highest figure since records began. And what do they say? Fluctuations, global factors, same old story. This is no longer an excuse, it's the name of a systematic collapse. Don't you agree? If you agree with my comment, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue.
the OBR predicted one thing, by the spring it predicted something else, by autumn they will give their prediction going forward from there, and we have to work from that forecast.
But that's been consistent in a deteriorating line. That's the concern. It's not been fluctuating and getting better for some of the time. It's been consistently deteriorating. Chair, Prime Minister, you've just been at pains to point out to Mr Byrne how much you're spending on different things. In May, the government had the second highest borrowing since records began, with only peak COVID in May 2020 being higher.
Sorry, I missed the middle word there, Steve. I'm so sorry.
In May, your government borrowed the second highest amount since records began, £17.7 billion you borrowed just in the month of May, and only peak COVID in May 2020 was higher. Do you expect borrowing this year to be higher or in line with forecast at the budget?
Oh, in line with forecasts, and there have been monthly fluctuations, usually for global reasons, as you'll have seen in a number of other countries. But we have also obviously got our overarching fiscal rules in place, which are ironclad, one of them relating to borrowing as a proportion of debt.
So tomorrow we will get both the June figure but also the figure for your first year in government of how much you've borrowed. You're expecting that to be in line with what was set out in the budget?
Well, I'll see what the figures are tomorrow, and there have been, I think every month this year there have been fluctuations, broadly driven, and I think generally accepted as driven, by events that are happening globally, almost capable of being tracked to them day by day, but I want to be in line with the forecasts. We've got the fiscal rules in place to ensure that we are in line with the forecasts.
Well, the spending decisions you're talking about weren't global factors, they're national decisions. At the spring statement, the OBR found that there was a £14 billion deterioration in the fiscal forecast, the fiscal outlook, from between the budget and the spring statement. Industry analysts are predicting a similar amount of deterioration ahead of the budget. Again, is that something that you would reject?
Well, my experience so far has been of different predictions almost on a weekly basis as we get into the final stages of the budget, which is why I think it's important to see them over a slightly longer term and see what precisely those forecasts are when we get to the autumn. And I don't say that frivolously. I mean, I was very concerned only a few weeks ago when the conflict in the Middle East looked like it was going to escalate rather than de-escalate. I was very concerned about the impact that would have on oil prices and on our economy as a result. And therefore, I do think it's important for us to see this over a slightly longer term.
I mean,
we're tracking it.
Now pay attention. They asked the Prime Minister, is this debt in line with the forecasts? Answer, let's see what the numbers say tomorrow. So they're running the country by saying, I don't know either. It's fate. OBR makes predictions saying one thing in spring, another in autumn, and the government hides behind it. But the experts said so. Remember, we heard the same story when Starmer was in opposition. Always pass the buck, always global factors. Then there's this magical phrase, fiscal rules, as if it were a Harry Potter spell. In reality, the economy is sinking deeper every month. Do you know what's funny? They use the conflicts in the Middle East as an excuse. Excuse me, but did Hamas empty the country's coffers? Always an excuse, always looking for someone to blame. We saw it in history too. In the 70s, the Labour government did the same thing and brought the country to the IMF's doorstep. It's the same cycle. Where do you think this is going? Is the ground being dug up? Write your comments. I'm really curious. If you've watched this far, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.